Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to install new rotors and pads on a 370Z. Specifically this is going to be for the base model Z, but if you have the Sport or Nismo models, the install is going to be fairly similar, so let's get right to it. So the first thing we're going to do, as with almost any car project, is get the car up into the air, so let's get to it. Alright guys, so now it's time to start installing the brake rotors, and I apologize if I'm looking pretty dirty right now. It's because I already finished installing some stainless steel lines, and I went ahead and did the passenger side rotors. As you can see there, they're looking really nice. I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what to expect when I'm installing these. It was a little more difficult than I was anticipating, but now that I sort of know what I'm doing, this should be a lot easier. So we'll go ahead and go over to the driver's side now and get ready to do those. And one thing I will say is you guys will want to jack the rear of the car up as high as you can, because we are going to need to fit a breaker bar underneath the rear calipers to be able to do these. In fact, let's go ahead and get started on working on the rears first. Alright, now when we're going to do the rear rotors, the first thing you want to make sure you do is unset the parking brake. If the parking brake is currently engaged, you won't be able to take the rotor off. I probably spent a good 15 minutes trying to figure that out. But what we're going to do here is we're going to take off these 3/4 inch bolts. There's two of them, one here, and then there should be one further down if you can see it. So originally I was going to try and use my impact wrench for this one, but I could not get the impact wrench to fit back here in this tiny space. There's just so much going on right now. So instead I'm using a breaker bar to initially crack this thing, and I've got like a 3/8 inch adapter and a 3/4 inch socket on the end of it. You need the 3/8 inch because it's really difficult to get a 1/2 inch around this bar to be able to get to the lower bolt. So that's kind of the trick I'm using to be able to crack this thing, and then I will switch over to a traditional socket wrench to be able to take this off. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this caliper removed. Alright, so that bottom one's cracked. Go ahead and do the top one as well. Alright, so now both of the bolts are cracked. We'll go ahead and switch over to a socket wrench. Now before we undo these completely, I would highly recommend getting something ready to be able to set this caliper on top of. Right now I'm just going to use a floor jack, because when you take that caliper off, you don't want the weight of the caliper to rest on top of the brake lines. So it's important that you have something sitting there to be able to hold the weight. Should be ready to go. As soon as you remove the second bolt, you're going to want to support the weight of the caliper, because it's going to want to slip off the disc once it's free. You'll want to place your jack or whatever it is you plan to support the caliper in place, so that way you can set it aside. So now we can actually see the pads here. Normally we take these pads up by removing the clamshell section that sits on the side of the rotor. We'll be doing this for the front. But the problem is when this is sitting on the hub back here, I can't really access the two bolts back here to be able to release the back half to be able to take these out. But I found that you can just take them out through this section here fairly easily. That way you don't have to go through the stress of rounding one of these bolts back here like I did. So it's pretty easy to just pop these out through the center. Like that. Now we should be able to take the rotor off as well. So there we go. That is the old rotor off. Mine came off fairly easily because these rotors are fairly new. My car only has like 20,000 miles on it, but some of you guys that have older rotors on there have been running them for longer, they may be rusted to the hub, in which case you might need to use some more extreme methods. Sometimes tapping it with a hammer works. In the front rotors, they have like a little bolt that you'll be able to use, but we'll see that here in a little bit. But anyways, we now have the old rotor removed, so it's time to go ahead and put the new rotor on. Now normally at this point what you want to do is clean the rotor off using some brake cleaner, but with the EBC brakes, you don't have the protective oil coating that comes on most rotors. With EBC rotors, they just have this black coating that's supposed to help with bed in. So I'm not going to be using any brake cleaner today, but just understand that normally with your rotors, you'll use some brake cleaner to clear off some of the oil that they use to prevent the rotor from rusting while it's sitting on the shelf. But give it a good clean. Of course, peel off a sticker if you happen to have one sitting on there. Make sure you do the back side as well, and then you can go ahead and install the rotor. Okay, now that our rotor is cleaned up, we'll go ahead and install it on the car. And sometimes if you want, you can use like a lug nut or something to be able to hold it in place. Also make sure you return the rubber cover that goes over this hole to prevent dust from getting into the parking brake mechanism. So now we'll go ahead and install the new pads on the caliper. So in order to be able to install the new pads, we do need to compress the piston that sits at the back of the caliper. Normally we can take off the other half of the caliper so that way it's easier to compress it, but unfortunately, as I said, I can't get these two bolts off. So I had to come up with a different way to be able to compress this, and I actually found that if I push on it hard enough with both thumbs, I can usually get that piston to compress the way I want it. Before you begin to compress the piston, you want to make sure you remove the cap that sits on top of the brake fluid reservoir. That way there's no pressure that's resisting the compression of the piston. I found it was easiest to compress it with my thumbs like I'm doing here, but there are loads of videos online showing different custom piston compressors that people have made using bolts and nuts, so you guys can also look for that if you don't want to compress it with your thumbs. Alright, so I've got that piston compressed about as far as I'm going to be able to get it to go. Now we'll go ahead and insert the pads. Normally you'll be given some grease to be able to set in the little grooves that are on the side here to take the pads, but unfortunately I don't have any grease with me, and plus it's going to be difficult to be able to apply it if I can't take off the back half of the brakes here. So I'm going to have to install these without the grease. Plus I'm not really sure how fire retardant that grease is, especially since these are race pads. They're going to be seeing quite a lot of heat and wear. Okay, so that is one of the pads installed now. Go ahead and slide in the other pad. Again, this isn't the standard procedure for inserting pads. You'll see how to properly do it on the front rotors, but unfortunately the two bolts that allow you to open up the back of the caliper are not really accessible on the rears, so this is the method that I'm using for the rears right now. Alright, so now we have both of those pads installed. Again, usually it is easier if you can take the back half off, but unfortunately it wasn't really an option today. So now we should be able to slip these pads around the rotor. Alright, I finally got the pads to slide around the rotor. It really sucks having to do this without being able to take this top section off. If any of y'all work at Nissan, how do you guys exactly get those two bolts that are on the back here to be able to remove the section? Because it's just completely blocked by this beam right here, and I haven't been able to get them off. I tried using a crescent wrench, but it ended up just rounding the bolt on the other side. So yeah, comment down below if you guys know how to get this off. But anyways, we'll go ahead now and thread the bolts back in to be able to place the caliper in the correct position. And that is the front rotor and brake pads now replaced. Also remove any stickers if you happen to have any sitting on the caliper. But now let's go ahead and do the fronts. And the fronts are going to be a lot easier to be able to remove. You want to start off by turning the steering wheel in the direction of the caliper that you're working on. That way you can get easier access to the bolts that are sitting on the caliper. And when the steering wheel turned all the way, we should be able to get it to work. Now the front caliper is going to be a lot easier to do because we have a lot more room, which means we can use power tools. So we're going to go ahead and start by removing those same two bolts that hold the caliper on. They are here in blue. That's one, and then there's the other one down below. We're going to go ahead and take those off. Now the bolts on this back side are a lot larger. They take a 22mm socket to be able to get them off. If you don't have a handheld impact wrench, you can also just use the breaker bar like we did previously. That will work as well. That's one removed. And again, get your jack in place so that way you can hold the caliper up when you take it off. and try not to put too much stress on the brake lines. Slide that caliper off. There we go, so the caliper is now partly supported. All right, this caliper should slide off fairly easily, but if it doesn't, if it's kind of rusted to the hub, they do provide you with this little bolt that you can thread through and it'll push against the hub and be able to pull the rotor off. But go ahead and just take that out. So I've gone ahead and replaced the caliper on the hub. I've threaded these bolts in only like a couple of turns just to be able to hold the caliper onto the hub, because what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and loosen these two 14mm bolts using our impact wrench. This guy right here is a 17mm that you're going to want to stick on there and hold while you're loosening these. So we will go ahead and undo those, and then we should be able to take this entire section of the caliper off and be able to get to the two pads. Alright, so now the two pads are exposed. We should be able to just slip these out through the back. So, there's one. And then there is the second pad now slid out. And we will go ahead and install our new yellow stuff pads. Now once again, for the front pads, you do get these shims to be able to reduce the amount of brake noise that you get. You want to peel back the protective backing that they have, and then you're going to just line up the holes in the shim with the dimples that are inside the pad. And then those should just stick on like that. Go ahead and do that for both pads, and then you should be able to install these on the car. Okay, with those shims installed, we'll go ahead and slide these pads into place. The clip that sits up top, this is a screech plate. It's supposed to sit on the top of the caliper, so make sure you orient it in the correct direction. One thing I forgot to mention about these screech tabs is you have to make sure that this little loop that sits inside the tab is threaded through this retaining clip here, so that way the pads can be pushed outward when the brakes aren't engaged and so the brakes can function properly. Now we'll go ahead and compress the piston. It's a lot easier to do on this side than it was on the rear. I just have this tool that I rented from AutoZone. Just has a back plate that sits on the back of the caliper here, and this should be able to press into the piston to be able to compress it. Alright, so now the pistons are compressed and I've gone ahead and put the back half of the caliper back on. Now I'm going to go ahead and thread these bolts back into place. So get them on finger tight for now. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take the caliper off one last time here, so that way we can actually put the rotor on. Okay, now we'll go ahead and put the caliper back on for the last time. You do want to make sure that your pads are still seated properly, and you might want to make sure that they are pushed as far apart as possible, so that way they'll slide easily over the rotor. And of course you want to go back and make sure you tighten everything down with a socket wrench. Alright, so that is now the front rotor finished. So now you should have the rear and the front rotor done on this side of the car. All you need to do now is go to the passenger side, repeat all the same steps, and then your rotors will be installed. Alright guys, we still need to do the most important step of this install, however, and that is going to be to pump the brakes. You do not want to forget to pump the brakes whenever you are doing a rotor or pad install. What you're going to do is you're going to go into the car and you want to make sure you press the brakes several times until the brake firms up again, because if you don't do that and you try and start to drive without pumping your brakes, you may end up crashing because the brakes aren't going to work correctly. So make sure you guys pump your brakes. And once you've done that, go back and check the fluid level on your brake reservoir just to make sure that the fluid hasn't gone down too much after doing so. If it's below the minimum mark, make sure you fill it up with some more brake fluid. In order to pump the brakes, you're going to start the engine and then you're going to give it several firm pumps with your foot. What you're doing here is you're compressing those pistons again to make them make contact with the brake pads, so that way the brakes will work immediately when you start to drive the car. Other than that, guys, your install is completely finished now. You can go ahead and put the wheels back on the car and let the car back down onto the ground. With your new pads and rotors, you want to make sure that you don't do any heavy braking for the first couple hundred miles. You want to let the pads and the rotors bed in. You want to give them some time to be able to settle before you start doing any hard braking. So avoid any hard braking if you can. But that is it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it the thumbs up, or if you found it helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I got some more how-to videos coming up later on. I'm gonna get back to work because I need to get the car back down. I need to get my garage cleaned up. So thank you guys, and I will see y'all in the next video.